As the Coachella Valley continues to grow as an entertainment and cultural empire in the California desert cities, Mutual 111 is your go-to for local and regional arts, literature, music, special events, and theater. From the Mutual Broadcasting System studios in Palm Springs, it's The Desert Scene with Bonnie G.
And welcome to The Desert Scene. Happy to have you here. And I'm very happy to welcome to the show David Catanzarite. I love that name. Who is with the Green Room Theater Company. And they've got a lot of really exciting things coming up. Hi, David. How are you?
I'm fine, Bonnie. How are you this morning?
Good. So, number of things we want to talk about. First of all, upcoming auditions and the touring production of Magalita. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Tell us about that.
Yeah. We've got auditions coming up next weekend for a touring production of a bilingual comedy called Magalita that will be going to people in their neighborhoods. So we are looking for people. We need 3 women of different ages and 1 man, and the women need to be bilingual. They need to be able to speak Spanish.
And tell us a little bit about the show. What the storyline is.
Well, the story is about an immigrant girl who, when she first arrived in the United States, she was bullied mercilessly. She lives in a small, tiny apartment in New York City with her mom, who's a working mother, and her grandmother comes to live with them, and the grandmother speaks no English, and Maggie refuses to speak Spanish. So she, in a sense, passes along the bullying to her grandmother, or tries to pass along the bullying to her grandmother, and that's what the story's about.
Wow. Okay. And have you guys done a touring theater production like this before?
Yes, we have. We had a really successful tour of a bilingual play called Novio Boy. That was a play by the very well-known writer Gary Soto. And it did really well. We went to 5 different locations in the desert. This time we're hoping to go to a few more. And audiences loved it, especially because the people in it were familiar, and, people came up to us afterwards and said, that was the first time I've seen myself represented on stage, my family and myself represented on stage. So that was, of course, that's really exciting to hear from an audience.
Absolutely. So do you go to elementary schools, or what type of places do you take the tour?
No, these are this play is for families, so it's, I think, we go to theaters, we go to libraries. We're going to hope to do a few outdoors, like at City Hall in Coachella. So these are designed for audiences of all ages. Excellent.
All right. So let's also talk about Giving Tuesday. Tell us about that.
Well, we're starting part of our program. You are right that we do work with elementary schools. One part of our program, our education program, works with elementary schools, and we have been very successful in running classes in ballet folklorico and theater at elementary schools in Indio and the East Coachella Valley. And we're hoping to raise $100,000. We're starting a capital campaign to raise $100,000 to put a program at the community center in Thermal, where, as you may know, the median family income in Thermal is $18,000 a year. So it's a place where, first of all, a lot of people don't even have transportation, and we'll be able to bring theater to people where they are, so they don't have to drive their kids across the desert in cars that they may or may not have in the first place.
And ballet folklorico, I love that name. Tell us about what that is. How is that different, say, from standard ballet?
Oh, well, ballet folklorico is folklorico refers to the folkloric roots of the dance. So it's a really highly developed dance form, and each state in Mexico has its own unique style of dance. So there are different dresses, different costumes for the the women and for the girls and for the boys, and of course different steps and different dances.
Mm-hmm.
So we cover several different dances. Like when we go right now, when we go to a school, we'll do one set of dances 1 year, and the next year we'll try to come back and do dances from another state. And that means getting more dresses and getting, more with different costumes.
Because that's really important. The whole pageantry and the costuming and all that's very important when you're talking about folklore. Yeah.
Yeah, the costumes are very recognizable. They're beautiful too. Mm-hmm. They're so colorful, and so it's gorgeous to watch. The children, when they come on stage, it's like watching a bunch of flowers pour onto the stage. They're just so bright and beautiful. And we usually have had, we work with 2 professional companies, and so we have dancers from the companies mix in and
with the kids.
Well, we mix in some of their dances, their professional dances with the adults, with after the children or before or after the children's dances. Mm-hmm. So that's really fun. At the Thermal Community Center for Dia de los Muertos on November the 2nd, we had a performance of one of the companies we work with called Retoños de Mexico, Blossoms of Mexico.
Oh, that's great. Also, another thing I want to talk about, an upcoming play on historic housing issues, which is a big, very hot topic these days. Tell us, and you're looking for a playwright, producer. Have you found any of those folks yet?
We're conducting a competitive search for a playwright, so people could be looking for the requirements for the competition. We have a grant, a really wonderful grant from the Inland Empire, through the Inland Empire Community Foundation, but it's that's funded by California Arts Council, and it's a workforce development grant specifically designed to pay actors, not actors, artists from the Inland Empire. So the playwrights have to be from the Inland Empire. The piece is going to it's going to be very inclusive, so it really involves Black, Native American, Hispanic, and also Filipino characters and Anglo characters. So we need somebody who can speak to the issues that we're starting from the issue of Section 14, which people may have heard about, Section 14 in Palm Springs, which was the displacement of an entire black neighborhood in the 1960s. But there are other issues throughout the Coachella Valley that we're also researching, and we've got some really interesting stories. We're unearthing some very interesting stories. So this is supposed to be a healing piece.
Yeah,
and we're not trying to stir up
trouble.
Between people.
Yeah,
but we want to discuss the truth, and so it's going to be a really fascinating piece. And I'm looking forward to working with the playwright and with a collective of artists, actors, designers, and other theater workers. We're going to devise the piece, so we'll be making the piece up as we go, and then we should have something pulled together for performances in June.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the Green Room Theater Company in general and how it started and what your kind of basic mission is.
Sure. Our vision is to provide professional theater and ballet folklorico performances to people in the neighborhoods where they live, and also to bring top quality education with professional teaching artists to those neighborhoods. So we don't want to. We have our office is now in Coachella. We moved to the city of Coachella. We're in Coachella City Hall now, which is really a fun place to be, where we share a wall with the Mayor Steve Hernandez, and in the building are also several other nonprofits. So we have a lot of sister organizations that we work with there. And we take shows out to where people are. We try to bring classes to where people are. For some people, it's very difficult. There's a lot of great theater in Palm Springs and Cathedral City, but a lot of people can't get there. And if they haven't ever been to the theater before, they're not likely to get in a car and go pay for a very expensive ticket at a theater they don't even know anything about. Mm-hmm. So we're bringing theater to where they are and trying to develop a whole audience mainly from the East Coachella Valley, but we're also working in Desert Hot Springs.
Excellent. And if people wanted information, I see the website is GRTC, standing for Green Room Theater Company, grtccv.org. Can people find more information on what you have coming up if they go there?
Yes, we have a pretty good website so people can find what they need. They can find out about the auditions. Mm-hmm. They can find out about our programs, and they can find out more about our history. Because we started as a conservatory. This was 15 years ago now.
Wow.
And it grew. It just kept growing, and we took a turn at a certain point and said, let's start doing theater with adult actors and for adult audiences while continuing our service to young populations, because we really believe that next generation of theater artists needs development, and we need to pay attention to all the great talent that there is in the Coachella Valley, not just in the West Coachella Valley.
Absolutely.
There's so much wonderful talent in East Coachella that doesn't get awakened.
Yeah. Well, David Catanzarite and the Green Room Theater Company, you guys do such great work, and it's really wonderful to have this resource in the Valley. Thank you so much for being here. Continued success. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for your interest, Bonnie. We really appreciate people knowing a little bit more about what we do.
Absolutely. All right, David Catanzarite, thank you. And we'll see the rest of you the next time on The Desert Scene.
Join us again for The Desert Scene with Bonnie G. from Mutual 111. Be sure to visit thedesertscene.com for more show information and mutual111.com for our full library of episodes.